What up, everybody? This video is about how you can create recurring tasks using the Airtable business operating system. So what I really wanted to do was I have a lot of work that needs done regularly with any kind of business. You're going to have that. You're going to have repeat tasks. However, I found that in Airtable, there's not a really straightforward way of just creating a customizable repeat task function. Like some things I want to repeat every week, every 7 days. Other things I want to be done monthly or bi-weekly, and other things, maybe it's like every Monday, like not a set amount of time. Maybe I finish the task on Thursday, I want a new task due on Monday. Or maybe I finish a task on Tuesday and I still want the new task due on Monday. So I wanted a dynamic system, something that would work with a variety of different due dates. So I'll show you what we got. I did create exactly that. I'm going to look at the daily task view, daily tasks due here. This is just a quick interface element. So I have all these different tasks in here that I'm working on. Let's look at this one is one that does need to be repeat, then chain invoice for Cleveland Pond. So this is something I'd like to be done monthly. First thing I'm going to do is click repeat task. That lights up this flag right here. Then I want this done monthly. Automatically, this is going to add in repeat X number of days. Got to give it just a moment here, and there it is, 30 days. Great. Now, whenever I mark this complete, I go up here to status, change this to complete, what I want to happen is for it to first mark this completion date, and then I needed to create a new task with another due date. That's preferably 30 days in the future. So, boom. There it is. So this is the next due date of our next task. It automatically is going to fill that in. And if I were to go into the back end of all of our tasks here, actually, you know what I can do? I can go to the project for this, because this is a overall ongoing project, and I can look and see in our tasks, due 8/14, here is our next task that is due in 30 days, automatically created within this project of running ads for this particular client. Great. So how did I do this? Well, let me go into the back end here, and I'll show you a little bit about what this looks like. All right, so we're now in automations here in Airtable, and this is actually a two-step automation. So the first step we have is when a record is updated with the when field. That's our frequency of when the task should repeat. We have all of these that are like daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, bi-yearly, and yearly. Each of these are numerical changes to due date. So like daily is due in 1 day. That's where we saw in the previous example where the monthly updated to 30 days. So whenever we change this field, whatever we change it to, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or whatever, it's going to update this other field, repeat in X days. So that automatically fills that in. One additional fact, on the actual task side of things, we can edit this repeat in X days field, and it will, like if I want this to be 31 days instead, I can change that to 31, and it's going to set that new due date for 31 days instead of 30. This is just a shortcut so we don't have to fill in the repeat in X days. All right, so that is part one of this portion of the automation. I gotta move this video somewhere. There we go. And then we also have part two. So part two is this fancy little automation here. And what this does is this is what happens when it's actually marked complete. So when it is marked complete, the first thing that happens is we're gonna update that completion date. And you saw that happen in the example task as well. So it updates the completion date with today's date, whatever today's date is. Then we have this small wait step here, and I found that this just helps to give time for everything to update. Like we need to make sure this completion date is updated before running the next steps. So we have this little wait step in here. That's just a piece of script that says wait this many seconds. And if you're not a coder, that's all right, me neither. You can get ChatGPT to help write any kind of code that you need, fill all this in. Our next step is going to be a conditional step. I have two different conditional steps here because I wanted this to react in two different ways. I wanted first our daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, all of our numerical increments to be in one condition. So numerically, I can move a due date daily, weekly, bi-weekly, however I want to do it. I can assign an amount of dates to that. However, our second condition is for the specific days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so on. If I wanted to set the next due date for a specific day, I needed a different process. So in our first process, what this is going to do, it's going to run another script. This magic script here, also you can get written by ChatGPT, will check what the amount of days are in here. It will calculate the next due date based on the number associated with whatever this setting is. So based on 30 from monthly, it looked at the completion date and then added 30 days to create the next due date. Then what we're going to do is we're going to update the record. First, we're updating that original record that we had just finished so that the next due date is going to go into that next due date field. Then we are creating the brand new task. This is really easy. All you got to do is just pull all of the fields from the previous task. Like this is actually from that original record that we had completed. We just pull the name from the original record from up here. When record matches condition, we look at all the details of this record and pull all those details into this right here. All the details, because we want it to be an exact copy. This allows us to connect this particular task with the same project, connect the task with the same tools, the same skills, any kind of knowledge-based information we want to have in that task. Anything that's relevant to future tasks, we want to tie in right here. So we can also add in our next due date, which comes from this script right here. That's all there is to that. Done. This task is done. That's how we saw it in the previous example. Now, our other version is exactly the same. We just have a different script in here. This script uses more of a switch type of a function where it is looking at what day we have marked as our repeat task day, and then assigning a number to it, which is associated with the day of the week. And this script is going to look through the calendar and find the next available day related to whatever number is associated with that. So again, ChatGPT is great at writing these kinds of scripts, so get the script off of there and plug that in, and bada bing, bada boom, you have a repeating task that is fully customizable. You can add as many customizations to this as you want. If you want to have more details, like maybe the first Monday of the month or something, or second Tuesday of every month, whatever, as detailed as you want to make it, you can add all that in here and it will be fully customizable. So now, anytime you want to repeat a task, all you got to do is select the repeat frequency and check that little checkbox that said that it should be a repeat task. So yeah, those are the two conditions on this. If repeat task is flagged as yes, and if it is any of these, then it will follow whichever of these two it needs to follow. So that is how you create repeat tasks in Airtable. I hope that helped, and follow along if you like this kind of content. We have a lot more Airtable stuff to create. There is a ton of awesome stuff that you can do in this system now. So that's all for now, folks, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the old algorithm there, and tune in for more.